Okay friends, it's time to get started on our job. One of the first things we're going to have to do is go ahead and start removing this area. To get this off, if you were to look inside the handle, you're going to find a small panel. Ours is already loose, but if you were to just come inside this corner area, there's going to be a tab you can grab with a pick or a small screwdriver. You'd want to carefully grab onto it and just carefully pull it up and away. We'll give that a quick inspection. Now if you were to look underneath this, we're going to continue on by removing our 2 Phillips head screws. Now let's continue on to a plastic trim tool. We're going to carefully try to get underneath this area without damaging our door or even the plastic paneling. Now as I lift this up along the back side, I want to pay attention along the forward side. If you were to look, you're going to find that you have this tab that goes underneath this. So if you were to try to pry up under here, you're more than likely going to break this. Let's carefully turn this over. Now we're going to move along to disconnecting our wiring. Let's move to this area where I'm squeezing, and then I can pull this up and off. We'll give it a quick inspection, and then we can set it aside. Now let's move along to the rest of our electrical connectors. We're going to squeeze on this little tab right here with a small pocket screwdriver and carefully pull this out. Give it a quick inspection. Set that aside. We're going to do the same to this one. We'll go ahead and turn that around. For this one, there's a much larger tab. Just go ahead and squeeze that in and pull this out. Set this aside. Let's go ahead and move along to our inside door handle. If you were to look behind the handle itself, you're going to find that you have a rectangular slit in the area. I'm going to use a small 90-degree pick. Get in between this area and I'll carefully pull it away from the door. Behind that, you're going to find 1 Phillips head screw. Go ahead and remove it. Let's continue with our plastic trim tool. We're going to slide it in between this area and we're going to carefully pop this away from the door. Now at this point, you don't actually physically remove this from the door panel. It's attached down along the bottom. Now let's continue on with the plastic trim tool and we'll move down along the bottom of the door. The area that we're trying to get in between is the metallic aspect of the door and the plastic trim here. Just get up in between there and I'm going to gently pry. There we are. Now we're going to carefully start lifting this up and away from the door. Now as we pull this away, we want to pay attention along the back side here. To separate this, we're going to use a small pocket screwdriver and I want to carefully try to press on this tab along the bottom. Once you press on that, you should be able to lift this up and away from the inside door handle. We'll just give this a quick inspection. Now we can remove the door panel. Let's continue on to removing the inside door handle bezel here. For this, I'm going to continue with my trim tool because I don't want to mar anything. I'm just going to carefully get in between and gently pry. Remove it from the door panel. There it is, friends. Now it's going to be time to install the inside door handle. Now for this, we want to start with the back side here, and we want to make sure that we slide it in and behind the door panel. After that, we're just going to go ahead and roll in the forward side and then lock it in. Listen for a click. Now I'm going to push from the back side and make sure I can't push it out of the door panel. That feels good. Let's get the door panel back on the vehicle. Now we can continue on by putting on our door panel. There's going to be several areas that you want to pay attention to. One of them being the area that the door lock goes up through. And if you were to look at the back side, you're going to find that you have a whole bunch of little push tabs that need to fit into their corresponding holes in the door. And of course, you have your door handle cable. Let's start with the door handle cable. Now for this, if you were to look at the end of the cable, you can see that it has this little bobble. Now that little bobble needs to fit in this area of the door handle. To put this in, it's going to be easiest if you grab some long nose pliers. I'm going to go ahead and pull on this cable, hold it in place, and then I'll grab it with my long nose pliers. Now we're just going to go ahead and twist this, and we're going to put it in position inside the inside door handle. Now once you have it put down inside there, you can go ahead and let go of the cable. We're going to make sure it's pressed in as far as we can. And now we're going to bring this area up and over the top here. Now, as you can tell, I have it slid into place. I'm going to go ahead and lock it down. Listen for a click. Give it a nice tug to make sure it's secure. Now you're just going to want to double check it to make sure it's completely secured. You don't want it to fall off. If it did, of course, it would be very difficult to open your door from the inside. Now we can take this and we're going to slide it in position. We're paying attention to the door lock and also up along this ridge right here. This ridge fits over the top of this area. Now we're going to pay attention down along the side here. I'm going to try to line up my push pins. Once it feels as though they're lined up, it should want to just push right in. Make your way up here, lock this in as well. Double check your door to make sure it's completely situated all the way around. We can put in our upper mounting screw. Make sure that's nice and tight. Let's put this panel in here. Looking at the bottom, you can see that you have two locating tabs. We'll slide this in at an angle and then lock it in with the top. Now it's time to put in our master switch here. Give it a little click, give them a tug as you go. Now you just want to go ahead and put all your wiring inside the door panel. As we bring this down, you want to pay attention to this forward end. You remember when we were removing this, I mentioned it. You want to go ahead and put that in first. Now we can swing this down, we'll lock it down, and then continue on with our two Phillips head screws. Now we can put on our inside cover. Pay attention to this area. You can see it has a little hook. That hook is going to fit down into this area, and then we'll roll it down to lock it in. Okay friends, we got our door panel put back together. At this point, it's a good idea to test everything. You saw that we took off the entire door panel to do this process, so everything that we had to disconnect needs to be double checked. Aside from that, thanks for watching.